waiting for a YouTube to upload, and YouTube was being so slow. I thought I would just take you into the garage and show you firsthand the towers live. So I am in a transition phase. Many of them will be moved outside. So we're finishing up some crops, and then some of the things are still babies. So what I will do is consolidate into a clean tower once I get ready. Our last frost is after Mother's Day, and then a lot of things just start going outside. I will be growing indoors full-time as well with a couple of towers. And I'll show you that. So if you see open grow ports, that's why, because some of the plants or some of the towers were at the last phase. So I'm not worried about covering up those grow ports for just a few days. It doesn't matter. So here are the towers. They're doing incredible. These towers, they are light tight. And so not all systems are like there's a few reasons why I chose the towers. For one, food autonomy. You can grow anything on these. You're not limited because of the lights, especially if you're growing indoors or outside. And then they're a sealed system, and then light doesn't penetrate. So it's made out of a material that doesn't break down. It was found to have 0 nanoparticle breakdown after 10 years farming. So we don't have to worry about ever having to buy them again, which is amazing. And we don't have to worry about anything leaching into our waters, which is really important, which is not the case with a lot of like cheap systems you might find. And so light doesn't penetrate through this material. I was talking to a girl who is in Australia, and she can't get a tower there, and she bought another system and was just telling me like she has to change the water every 2 weeks is what it recommends, and all this stuff on there. And it's because it's got penetratable, like light can go through her system, so you can have problems with algae and things like that. They also use 90% less water, which is really important in some regions. Like I know water's a big problem for small farmers, are getting hit really hard right now in Oregon. Lots of things going on with that. And I will often hear like concerns around the cost, because we do use electricity, but it's like $4 to run the pump. And even growing in the soil, an electricity cost around watering. So not only are we using 90% less water than if we were to grow in the soil, but you still have to run a pump. Even if you're on a well, you have to run a pump to water, which is a lot of electricity. You have to use a lot of water to grow food outdoors. Not many people have their pumps on solar or an artesian well they can water with. So I think that's one of those hidden costs that's often with gardening that's often forgot about. And we get to reduce that here. The roots grow in the air 80% of the time. Why that's important is because unlike hydroponics, where it's a moving system and they're in water, you don't typically see hydroponic systems growing tomatoes and peppers and cabbages next to lettuces, because they all have different nutrient needs. And with hydroponics, you have to get more specific about that. And aeroponics, you don't. We use the Tower Garden nutrients that are formulated to grow all the things. And because they're in the air, the roots, they're just really, really efficient at taking in what they need and not what they don't. And the rest goes to the bottom, and then it's recycled over and over and over again. And until we fill them back up and add more minerals. So that part's really awesome too. So I'm gonna take you guys on a tour. If you have any questions, let me know. I just thought I would pop on and say hello. I wanna show you some really fun things I found to grow. It's freezing outside. It's raining. We've been going through this several-day windstorm, which just totally messes me up because I don't sleep well. Our house is, you'll probably hear it in a minute, that we have tin roofs and it's really loud. So this eggplant, I found a red eggplant. This is Insoro Awea. I'm gonna do the Indian snake cucumber outside. These are things I'll be growing outside. Just thought I'd show you a few fun things. I'm gonna have a YouTube coming out on a lot of this. The jelly melon, super excited about this. Huckleberry, these are going in the garden. The lychee tomato, this has thorns. So I haven't decided if I'm gonna grow this on the tower, probably. I just thought it was interesting. I like to try really random things. Let me see if there's any other. I am going to grow all my own tomato sauce tomatoes. If you want to do that, totally doable. Grow a Roma tomato. They're a small plant anyway. So Romas do really well on the towers, and that's where you can get all your sauces from. I got some turnips or some rutabaga Some beautiful rutabaga. I already started those. Lots of beets. I'm going to show you my beets in a minute. Oh my gosh, they are so incredible. So I got some different colored beets because why not? I thought this one was really fun. I have found the long root vegetables do well on the towers because they grow like out, like elongated. I've grown some radish that are long like that. So I thought we would try those beets. How delicious. This is the Cylindra. These are all from rareseeds.com, my favorite place. Oh, these, I grew these year one, ground cherries. If you're not familiar with a ground cherry, it tastes like a pineapple and a pepper had a baby. And they're so fun. They have this little husk on them and they fall all over the place and you can eat them. Tomatillas, I'm gonna grow these for sure. So that was it on the fun stuff. Oh wait, one more. Check this out. Look at this radish. It's as big as this child's face. This is Sakurajima Giant. We're gonna grow that for sure. All right, let's go walking around and I'll show you guys. So if you just hopped on, some of the towers are on their way to being cleaned to move outside to grow food. Some will stay indoors. So if you see open grow ports, that's why. And it's okay to have that temporary. So here's first tower. This tower, most of this I'll eat in the next few days. This is the baby cauliflower. And I've mentioned before, I grow this because it's ready in 28 days. And you can grow, I grow tons of these. You'll see them all over the towers. And so I can always come out and harvest one or two and have cauliflower for dinner or a cauliflower to add to something. Most people don't eat a whole cauliflower in one sitting. And so I have found this is a great way to get cauliflower all the time. This one's starting to open up. It needs to be harvested. And then the leaves are so sweet and incredible. I've been using those to make raw wraps. I share a lot of that on my YouTube or on my Instagram stories. So if you want to head over there, I do share a lot of this stuff during the week about recipes I'm making and things. So that's what those are. And you'll see them everywhere, different phases. So there's always something to come and grab. Got baby lettuce because I interval plant. This is the iceberg. Over here's dill and some edible aloe. This is buckwheat. This is just an experiment. This won't give you enough food to justify growing it, but I was running some experiments on that. Always have cilantro, another iceberg lettuce. When you start getting these brown leaves, it's because it's time to harvest this. It's ready. I just haven't had time. There's other foods I need to eat. Over here is zucchini. This is starting to flower. This will be moved outside. So I will start to harden this off as soon as we have some good warm days. And then after Mother's Day, this will be outside full time. And this will give me zucchini months before I could ever get it in a soil garden. So I just get to jumpstart. You could leave this indoors and you could grow it indoors as well. It's doing amazing in here. Anytime I have leaves that are a problem, like this leaf doesn't look very good, you just pop it off. Over here, there's some really fun stuff. Peppers. This is a wasabi mustard, some kales. This is my stinging nettle. I have cut and harvested off of this thing so many times and it just grows back bigger every single time. We use a ton of nettle. So I've discovered I only need like 2 of those plants for our whole year's supply of nettle, which is awesome. There's lots of baby greens here. This is a mustard, got a little bit beat up, but this, I grew this because of this stem. It has this super thick stem. I wish you could feel it. It's really, really dense. So I'm growing different foods for texture and flavor and color. And I grew this one because of this big meaty stalk to it. You can add that to stir fries or whatever. It's almost like broccoli. There's green onions. Here comes the rain. I can hear it. This is a gorgeous gourmet lettuce bundle. This is the Tower Garden Gourmet Lettuce Blend, I believe. This is an heirloom romaine. I'm pretty sure this is Devil's Den. And this is a traditional romaine. So here's something really fun. There's more zucchini and things down there. This is beets. So I do my beets 3 per rock wool. And if you guys probably can't see in here, but this beet, I can't even wrap my hands around it. It's gigantic. So you can get big beets. I typically harvest them like this. But this one grew so big. The one next to it's pretty small. And then the third one, over here buried in the stinging nettle where I'll get stung if I try to show you, is medium, maybe that big. So you get different sizes, and I like to do 3 per rock wool so I can have a pretty nice harvest. And then the beet leaves are so nutritious, and look at these things. Over here, we've got green beans. If you want to grow enough green beans to like have a lot to harvest, you need to plant several plants. So I've got 4 or 5, and that's just been enough to come snack on them. I like to eat them raw with hummus, which was fine for me. But next year I'm going to work on 20 indoors in the winter. This is another zucchini, gorgeous aloe. This one's doing really well. This is the patio baby eggplant. This will be like the zucchini. I haven't had any eggplant over the winter, but I forgot to pollinate these, where you just do this or get airflow on them. I'm going to transition this one outside, and it will give me patio baby eggplant months before I could ever get them in the soil. So it just gave me a really big head start. Got some white turnips up here. This is a pepper plant. This is my radicchino. I need to harvest that. It's actually at its peak. I'm gonna miss the peak opportunity if I don't get that out in the next day or two. Romaine, I like to do 3 to 5 seeds. This one has 2 or 3. Got some cucumbers popping up, little baby cucumbers, rosemary, so many things. Oh, these are cute. Look at these radish. Love them. Having a fresh radish to top a salad with is always delightful. Swiss chard. Swiss chard is incredible. Let me answer some questions here. Have you ever grown broccoli indoors? I don't grow broccoli indoors. It doesn't do really well. It doesn't have the time it needs to grow those giant broccoli heads. It's like cabbage. Same with cabbage. I grow different things instead of do it. Yes, I've seen people do it and harvest, decent sized broccoli, but it takes so long. So to take away from your tower, I wish I could find a baby broccoli like the baby cauliflower, and then I would totally do it. But it just takes so much. I don't think it's worth it to grow a lot of food. I'll show you when you can grow instead of broccoli in a minute. The towers are from Tower Garden. You can find the link to them. I actually have a membership. I'm hoping it'll be done this Friday. All my customers get free access to the membership, and it's on an app. And then it leads to a private Facebook group where I go live, and we do all kinds of really cool things, sharing recipes, health focus. The towers are for food security and to be able to grow an abundance of food, but also to grow the food so we can be healthier. So we do a lot of that stuff in there. So that's out hopefully in the week. Can you grow gourds inside? No. Gourds, again, that's a big vining plant. You never want to grow vining plants indoors because they just take over. And then they're going to grow out of the light field. It's best to grow smaller plants. Like the cucumbers I'm growing are a dwarf variety. So it's already producing food, and it's a tiny plant. And it's only going to produce 20 fruit, and then it's dead, and then I start over. So that gives us food faster. Same as this patio baby eggplant. I can get eggplant this big, then it's done. Over here, this is Swiss chard. Grows amazing on a tower. This is something you can grow instead of broccoli. This is kohlrabi. I grow a ton of kohlrabi. I grow 2 per rock wool. It grows amazing. It's very crunchy and mild and a little bit sweet like broccoli, so you can chop it up. It's very, I don't know, it has such a great flavor. And then you can eat all the leaves too. So that is a good option to grow instead of broccoli or cabbage. These are turnips, kales. This is a cabbage, but I grow it for the leaves. Parsley, I grow a lot of parsley for food, lots of lettuce. Excuse me. Let me see what else is over here. Oh, this is another option instead of cabbages. I grow a lot of bok choys. This is a snowball bok choy. More beets. You'll see there's food at all different ages. There's baby lettuce with mature lettuce. Here's some more baby greens so that I always have food to come out and harvest for dinner. This tower right here is all peppers, and it'll stay indoors. I'm going to grow the peppers indoors this year. These are all different varieties, so each plant looks different because it's different variety. And they are incredible. Look at this. There's at least 20 peppers going. This is a poblano pepper, or it's not, it's a little bit different, but I forget the name of it, but it's in the poblano pepper family. So the peppers are doing incredible. There's chili peppers and sweet peppers and snacking peppers. Here's some chili pepper varieties, shishito peppers. Then up here, this is all lettuce. Look at this. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's at least twice the size of my head. This thing is gigantic. The basil leaves are as big as my hand. They're incredible. It's just a standard basil. It just grew massive leaves. So they've been fun to make wraps out of, which is really nice. Ooh, they smell so good. Over here is our home gym. Here's my new oven that I'm hopefully one day gonna put in. This is my celery juicing tower. I made a YouTube on this, and I rotate different aged celery so that I can start to harvest it and juice it. This tower needs a little bath. It's right by the garage door, and I had the door open. Things got a little bit dirty, but still, it's doing great. And then this is lettuce, I believe it's called, and you grow it for the stem. So I like to grow, like this is pink celery. I like to grow unique things that have different textures and different flavors, because then we can jazz up meals. Over here's my tomato tower. So I've got lettuce that's ready to harvest. I've got cilantro, kohlrabies maybe? I have no idea. And all sorts of, look at this, gigantic kohlrabi. This one's bigger than my hand. But then the tomatoes are in an interval process of producing fruit. So these are hanging basket varieties, dwarf varieties. There's different ones. This is the heartbreaker. And as you pick them, it encourages the plant to produce more flowers. And so there's always a rotation going on. You're gonna have some green, you're gonna have some ripe, and then you're gonna have flowers. This is a yellow tomato. Over here, same thing. I'll harvest the rest of these. I've been eating off of this bundle. I'll cut this whole stem off, and then it'll just tell this plant to produce more flowers. And these will start to ripen, and we just continue the process. This is how you fertilize them. And they just keep rotating, so you get lots of food, which is really great. At some point, they'll get diseases, and you gotta start over. All right, let me see. Newfoundland, Canada, hi. Thank you for watching my videos. I'll be in Canada. I'll be in Quebec April 20th for an event. If anybody's in Quebec, come and see me. That's going to be really, really fun. What would happen? Would you happen to know why the pH is around 7.7 and drops to 3? So your pH starts at 7 before you add nutrients, and then it drops. You might have to tailor your nutrients to get it back up, because obviously your water's, I don't even know if I've ever tested my water before putting the nutrients in. And do you let your nutrients sit for a while? So one thing I found, and pH, so I never check the pH of my towers. And that's probably bad advice. So I don't want to say, like, don't ever check the pH of your towers. But I have found that sometimes people will try to get it to the right pH, and then you end up adding too many of the pH plus or the pH negative, and it throws off the nutrient content, which messes up the plants, because then there's too many nutrients. Okay, hold on one second, Emma, and we can talk about that. So my guess is I would put the nutrients in the recommended amount, wait 24 hours before testing your pH. And then if your pH is constantly running at 3.75 after you add your nutrients, your water must be kicking it off. So what you can do is lower the amount you're putting in. I can't think of which one, A or B, off the top of my head, is going to do that. But reduce the amount of that one. It's better to reduce the amount and do less nutrients to get your pH right than to keep trying to throw stuff in there to get it right. I run mine at about 5.5. Emma, what you can do, if you send me an email, it's Steph, STEFFMOR8 @gmail.com. I can fix that for you because all my customers get into my free membership. So I have a free membership. Well, it's for my customers, it's free. For other people, it'll be paid, but it's an app. There's courses in there, how to start your seeds, lots of things, pH information, all the questions I've been asked, like how do you deal with aphids, all of that information is set up in mini courses in the app, because I know on the social media platforms, it's really difficult. Sometimes people ask me the same questions over and over again that are answers are on here, but social media doesn't show everybody everything. So this is to help it be in a nice space. So you can go in there and type in like tomatoes you want to grow indoors, and it's all in the app. So you have it. And then there's a private Facebook group where we get in and hang out live, and it's focused around growing food for the purpose of health. So we have recipes. I do live videos teaching how to grow. I can answer your questions. Like if you've got a picture and something's not right on your tower, that's a place you can put it. So I can say, okay, this is what's going on and what we need to do, doing some juice cleanses and smoothie cleanses and things like that. So definitely, Hema, make sure to message me so we can fix that, because I want to make sure you get into my membership. It's hopefully launching Friday, been lots and lots of work. But there's also sprouting content in there, because I'll get a lot of questions. I ferment a lot of foods. Like sometimes people don't know how to eat, like a radicchino. If you've never eaten that, how do you eat it? Well, I make reels on that stuff, but they get buried in the social media web of, I don't know what social media does anymore. I can't keep up. So it'll all be there so that you have it if you need it. Yes. At least 2 cycles. So you're running 2 cycles. And then it's, yeah, then I would figure out which A or B needs to be lowered and just add less to begin with, is my advice on that one, Diane. How often do you clean your towers? I usually run them the question is how often do you clean your towers? I go in usually by the seasons. So these towers came in here in November and I haven't cleaned them. So I will clean them. What I'm doing right now is letting a lot of the food that needs to be eaten, and the towers are getting emptied. You'll notice there's lots of open grow ports if you were on the tour with me. And that's because I'm gonna wait, and anything that I'm gonna transition and keep, I will put all of that food in a clean tower, and then I'll take these out and deep clean them and get them ready for the growing season. So that's typically how I clean mine. I would say 3 times a year now that I'm thinking about it, because that tower will end up being tomatoes, and those won't come out, maybe even twice a year. So they won't come out until the fall again. Like in September, the tomatoes will burn out and we'll start over. So hopefully that makes sense. You can clean it more often if it's easy to do, but it's also not super necessary either. I'm just gonna scroll. Let me know if you guys have any questions, or you gotta stare at my face staring at these questions. Yeah, so this is tower gardening. It's awesome. It's a great way to get food. I was mentioning before, it's freezing out and it's raining, and there's nothing growing outdoors yet, except for the strawberries are getting ready. And here we have all this food abundance. We know there's lots of things going on with the food systems and the food costs. I saw a head of lettuce, $7 in Canada the other day. Isn't that crazy? Iceberg lettuce, which is old. By the time we get iceberg lettuce, it's traveled 1,500 miles and it's old. So we get all this fresh food, all those nutrients in our bodies, which is incredible. I feel like we have to eat less to get so much more value, because we're picking it and eating it within minutes. And then we're eating so much more of it because I would have never buy that much food at the grocery store, but I have it all, so we eat it all, and then we get even more nutrients. So it's so awesome. How many extensions can you add to the home system? Just one. It'll get wobbly. It's kind of wobbly with one. And I think some people would suggest not even adding one. I have extensions on I don't have a home. It's behind me. I definitely run extensions on my home one, but any more than one, you would run out of water too quickly, especially on a home unit, and it would be unstable. And you wouldn't have enough lights. The plants would be way out of the light field. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions. Hema, I'll send you a comment here and put my email too. So if you are a customer of mine already, be checking your email and I'll be calling people, or my assistant's gonna call people and let them know about the app and the membership as soon as it's available. If you aren't and you want in on the membership, it'll have a yearly cost. I'm not gonna make it ridiculously expensive or anything. It'll be pretty reasonable. You know, I spend a lot of time and a lot of content and it's a lot of work. So definitely have to charge for that to be available to answer all those questions and help people in the growing. But if you are a customer, you automatically get in there for free. So that's awesome. And I'm super excited to just get all the information in one spot and cleaned up and just maximize what we can grow and really help people to learn this method of interval planting and how do we eat this food. Like a lot of that will be in there as well, because I know that can be a new concept too. I was talking to a woman today and it's like, how do you eat Swiss? Some people have never ate Swiss chard because it's not familiar to their diet. And so what do we do with this incredibly nutrient dense food once we do grow it, and how do we get in the habit of eating it, which is awesome. Okay, thanks guys for joining me. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain. It's raining pretty hard. I'm gonna hop on this Peloton bike here, do a little workout, and then work on these towers some. It's so fun to be able to garden at 8:30 at night while it's raining outside in the warm garage. Thanks for joining me. Post any questions you have. They're so helpful for me to know what content to make to answer those questions. So I love all the questions. Have a beautiful night.